Hey there, class. Welcome to week 12. We are in the home stretch now, so things will be progressing pretty rapidly for the balance of the semester. So you've all been doing a great job, so keep it up. Um, this week we're going to be tackling treatment of depression and other mental health disorders among the aging population. This is an evidence-based practice that I did not have a terrible amount of familiarity with the research per se. It's probably one of the newly established EBPs when you compare it to things like supported employment and ACT and whatnot. Um, but I think it's a particularly important EBP for a couple of reasons. First off, if you think about the geriatric population in America today, um, there are lots of them. There are a great number of baby boomers that are sort of approaching that population. If you want to think of it as 65 and older, they're right in there. Many of which are either retired or are retiring right around this time. My parents fall in this category, so I kind of some firsthand knowledge. Um, and our subject matter expert, Michelle Zechner, who is a faculty member here in our department, has a great deal of experience and was a big help for us in designing this curriculum and outlining the online book for this week's lesson. So big, great thanks to her. Um, so talking about this aging population a little bit, some of the risk factors to think about of what makes this particular subset of individuals more prone to things like depression and anxiety. If you think about the risk factors, think about what they're coming to terms with, people that are older. You may be in this situation yourselves. I know I have some older students, as well as working with loved ones or working with older folks, consumers, or just kind of, if you're in relationships with loved ones or people in your support network that are older. They're coming to terms or beginning to come to terms with the fact that their life will be ending. They're also transitioning in a way out of a life role that they've known for a very long time, that being usually employee, but some sort of worker role, into that of retiree. And that is a big change for some folks. I know my father retired about a year ago now, and it's been a big change for him, um, seemingly mostly positive. But if you think about other things that this population has to manage, things like the loss of a partner, loss of other friends or support, which can trigger intense loneliness. Also, as people get older, obviously, medical complications become more prevalent. So they're often having to deal with more medical complications. Medical treatment is expensive. So another thing that a lot of seniors and elders are dealing with is running out of money. Sorry, it's sad to say. People didn't budget correctly for their retirement, or they had unexpected medical bills that can drain a savings on a nest egg very quickly. So these are just some of the few risk factors that I'm sure we'll be delving into deeper with this week's lesson. So that is what you have on your plate for this week. There is one online lesson, and there are some articles and links within that lesson for you to read, and I think a video for you to watch. I'm going to talk about the final forum exercise for this week. This is the last one. It's going to be a little bit different if you've read it. This is going to be a group forum exercise. So what I did was I broke the class up into 4 groups of 5 or 6. I'll post those groups close to the forum assignment. And you will be working in groups to kind of create a document. You'll see in the forum assignment for this week, we have a little bit of a scenario that we presented to you. And you guys will be working together to answer the question or provide the information that I'm requesting in a 2-page document. So here's how it will work. I'm going to give each group, a workspace in the forums this week so that they can communicate with one another and talk about how they're going to tackle this problem and sort of delegate who's going to talk about what. The group will then be responsible for submitting one up to 2 page document of recommendations and things related to the scenario that we pose. So since that will require a little bit more than the traditional amount of time you might be used to putting in for the individual forum assignments, I'm giving you an extra week to prepare for this one. So instead of the assignment being due this week, it's going to be due next Friday, which is the 17th. So you're going to have this weekend to work amongst your group in the workspace that I provide you with, or you could get together outside of it, group chat, texting, however you guys decide to communicate. There's also a chat box feature which you guys can use, I think, at the top of the main Moodle page. So you guys will kind of work together, create this document. You'll have to submit it by next Friday, which is also the day that the final paper, the project, is due as well. So if you have any questions, you can pose them. Send me an email. But I am looking forward to see what you guys do together on this topic. Last thing, to talk a little bit about the project. It's 10 days away. So it's also due by the end of the day on the 17th. There'll be an assignment box next week where you can upload your paper. Or if you're doing a video, you can upload your reference page as well as a link to your video. So I'm hoping that those get posted online, since to post it would be hard to upload a large video in Moodle. There are a couple people still needing to follow up with some questions that Professor Librera and I had for you. I think there's like 3 people. So if you are one of them that does not have a pass next to your grade yet for the idea for the assignment, please follow up with one of us. Lastly, a couple of you had questions about the peer-reviewed requirements for the final project. A couple of you asked if you could use the textbook as a peer-reviewed source, and I had said no. You can certainly cite the textbook. I certainly see an application for citing the textbook when you're talking about maybe describing the EBP if it's in the book. That would be a great opportunity to use it. But the requirement, and I'm reading from what it says, is 3 peer-reviewed journals coming from 3 peer-reviewed sources from the last 5 years. So we're thinking like articles with that. So I'd helped a couple of you with kind of directing you with what I'm looking for. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. But if people are used to writing papers for this department, this should not be that that strange of a requirement. It's the same type of requirement that most of your papers probably have, that you have a certain number of peer-reviewed sources that you're required to cite and provide the reference list of which ones those are. Anyway, so that's it for this week. Any questions, send myself or Professor Librera an email, and talk to you all soon.